MLS Aces Podcast. This is your host, Tom Sweezy. This is episode 342 with Jason Vivang. Jason, we are back. A lot has happened in the last week, even though we put out an episode last week. Usually we're not that pre-planned and prepped, so I'm excited for us. How are you?
I don't actually really know what you meant by that comment.
I feel like if we need to miss a week like we did last week, we're never like.
Was that last week?
Yeah, that I put out the interview. That I have an interview in the back pocket to be like, boom, just sub in an interview for the week, which we did. And if you didn't,
look, it's just Leagues Cup, right? That's all that's going on now. My team hasn't even played in like 3 weeks. Okay, so sue me if I'm not that excited.
It's been like a week and a half. It's been, and MLS is back soon enough, right? You know, so
well, it's weirder if they're going on at the same time. I'm going to be completely honest.
Okay, we will dive into all of the Leagues Cup games and takes and everything. And Inter Miami just scored. So let's I think, is that Rodrigo De Paul first goal?
I think it was.
Oh, I like that sign too. Him and Messi.
I like it. Yeah, doing it live. It's great that you said that.
Cute.
Oh, Messi's just street clothes on the side.
Messi's pumped for his buddy. That's it. Okay.
This is how we start. That was the biggest smile Messi's had in a while.
It's the biggest smile he's had since he joined Miami. All right. This is a great way to start an episode here. So we are going to cover everything from the insane transfers that have happened in the last week and
oh my god, that was abysmal defending.
It was not great.
Oh my god.
Then we're also going to obviously talk all things Leagues Cup as we watch Leagues Cup live. So that everyone get ready for an interesting, wild episode of MLS and Leagues Cup and U.S. soccer talk. Jason, I think we should first and foremost start with probably the two biggest transfers, name-wise, that have happened.
I feel like there's, for our podcast, I think there's 3. But obviously 2 of them are far bigger than the third.
For our podcast, I can talk about all of these in depth.
Okay, but I mean like for the listeners, there's at least 3.
Okay, let's dive into it. LAFC, is that a fair way to start? We talked about this a little bit, so I don't think we need to go too much in depth, but it is now official. LAFC have signed South Korean international winger Heung-min Son from Tottenham for a deal that is reportedly up to $26.5 million. He will be a DP. This does set the MLS transfer record on spending, breaking Emmanuel Latte-Loth, who broke Kevin Denke. So the MLS transfer spend has been broken once again for the last time in 6 months or the last year, whatever it may be. So the 33-year-old South Korean international comes over after winning Europa League with Tottenham. He's obviously won an EPL Golden Boot in his career. Over 300 goal contributions last season. He had 23 goal contributions across 46 games across all competitions for Tottenham. He joins a pretty busy LAFC transfer window. They bring in another center back in Ryan Porteous from Watford in the EFL Championship. They also bring over Matthew Choinière on loan from Grasshopper Club Zurich, as Jason absolutely loves the club name there. It has been a pretty good summer transfer window now for LAFC, topped off with obviously the headline signing, I think, of the summer in Heung-min Son. Jason, like I said, we've talked about it, but now that it's official, how are you feeling?
I feel good about it. I mean, I think the more I think about it, the better I feel. Like at 20, I don't remember what we were texting. I think I was like, I don't know, it feels both too little for him and too much for him at the same time. But I almost only think that because we've just never seen a number this big in MLS. If there was anyone who would deserve that type of number, I feel like Son is in that category. Like 33 years old, sure, you're on like the later end of your prime, right? But he had 23 goal contributions last season and won the Europa League. Like this isn't like some random guy. This is the star basically of Tottenham. Who sure their season wasn't great, but he was great. He's always been great.
This has also been. He is also. I should probably reword that. He is also the one of the best 5 players we've seen play soccer in the last decade globally. Like he is one of those guys. And
You think he's one of the 5 best players in the entire world?
Over the last decade, I'd say on average, him, Mo Salah, right?
I don't know.
My global soccer knowledge is not the best.
I feel like probably I wouldn't put him in the top 5, but
top 10, top 15,
top 20. I don't know.
That's rough. I think you're.
I mean, Kane was the best player on that team. This sounds like I'm like bashing on him.
I
love him, but like
was better than Kane for a few years on Tottenham. That I will own fully. I will own that sentence completely.
I mean, just like I feel like saying global soccer is too broad.
Okay, he has been one of the best players in the Premier League for the last decade.
Yeah. Okay, I'm fine with that.
which I then
top 5. Then I start thinking of all the players and all the different positions.
Top 5 might have been a stretch. Sorry,
everyone. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne.
I'm still on vacation brain, but I still think saying he's been one of the top 10, he's been one of the 10 best players in the Premier League over the last decade is a true statement. That is, I will not challenge that one.
Whether I disagree or not doesn't matter. We both like it. We both really like the move.
Yes.
Where we rate him in the Premier League or global
Premier League history. Let's
sort of behind. Besides the point.
I think ultimately, and I know we said this, 2 weeks ago when we were talking about the potential of this move happening, is that my only question mark is where does he play? Does it bump Denny Bouanga out to the right? Does he get bumped out to the right? He is.
That's the only bad part. It's like you now have your 2 best players essentially in the same spot.
Play the same exact position.
Yeah, like that's the one thing I'm like, what? I mean, sure they have to have talked to Bouanga about it, right? Like, or like Son, like they definitely had conversations about where each guy is going to be playing.
Maybe Denny Bouanga bumps to the striker.
That's what I was going to say. I think if anything, he's the number 9 now.
Well, because now you're balancing a front line of Heung-min Son, Denny Bouanga, David Martinez, Nathan Ordaz, Abou, right? It's like, where do all those pieces?
Yeah, but like Nathan Ordaz, I mean, I love the kid. I think he's been really good, but him and like Abou are not starting.
My assumption is, right, it's Bouanga, Son, and then it's some rotation.
I should have pulled up your sheet.
Of Ordaz, Abou, or David Martinez. Like those 3 to me, it's like someone's playing striker out of those 3, or whatever. It's going to be Ordaz, Abou, or Bouanga playing striker, and then if Bouanga's out wide, then it's Ordaz in the mid. Like they're just going to kind of have a nice flexible rotation. I'm going to assume until Heung-min Son can get fully acclimated into the squad, in my opinion. But
I hope he gets acclimated quickly. I think he's going to, personally. Like, again, this guy is still at a very high level. I don't think it's comparable to any of these other moves, even the moves we've seen this window for some European players. I think he'll get on. I think he'll get. It seems like the right move for LAFC. I just feels, outside of the fact that, like we said, their 2 best players now play the same position. I feel like LAFC knows what they're doing here. And I think, going back to our last podcast, the West is pretty wide open. And I think this team has a chance to be the best team in the West.
I think Heung-min Son, and I will say it, and I will say it till I'm fucking blue in the face, and I don't care. Heung-min Son can have a Lionel Messi-esque effect on LAFC, on Major League Soccer. He's going to open up Major League Soccer to another half of the globe. There's a huge Korean community in LA. They're going to love it. He's going to love it. It's going to be fantastic, I think, in terms of meshing him to a city.
Well, and the fee, like, they're going to get that money back in jersey sales. They already have a ton of, 10 million from Club World Cup? Like, I don't think the money thing was that much of an issue for LAFC.
If you take the Club World Cup money and just throw it out the window like it never existed, they only paid like 16 million for Heung-min Son. That's a steal. That's a steal. Yeah. But in other transfers, to kind of quickly round up LAFC here, obviously Matthew Choinière coming back to Major League Soccer. I love it. Big fan of his. And remember when we came into the season for LAFC when they literally had like 3 midfielders on the roster? It was like Mark Delgado, Tillman, Igor Jesus, and now they've added in Frankie Amaya, Matthew Chouanier. Like now they've built out some depth in the midfield, and all of these guys we've seen be starters in this league and be successful, and now they're depth pieces.
It's funny to me because like I always just look at other teams and then I see like an LAFC window like this, and I'm like they were great, and then they said let's just fix everything and be great. Still, like what are we doing everywhere else?
I mean, it's fair, right? And just to quickly,
commitment is like the number one thing that makes a team good in MLS at this point.
This is why I also think John Thorrington easily one of the best sporting directors in Major League Soccer as well. The dude just knows how to continuously build and work with the roster he has. And again, I said it slightly before, but they lost Aaron Long for the season. We talked about that last episode or 2 episodes ago. And now they bring in Ryan Porteous from Watford. He's a Scottish international. He's 26 years old. He's in his prime. He has over 270 games played in his career. You know, he has experience in the Scottish Premier League, the EFL Championship. He looks like a profile that's going to come over and slot in nicely to play with Nkosi Tafari and Eddie Segura for the rest of the season. I think LAFC have put themselves in a prime position to make it to another MLS Cup. And you said it, Jason, West is wide open. That's what this seems like to me.
I mean, the West each week feels more wide open. And even when we're not having MLS, I feel less confident about the West. Although Seattle's built some confidence in me, which is a good thing because they've always been at the top of my list a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
I fully agree with you. All right, let's go to the other big global name that I feel like people are going to want to hear. Thomas Muller. He has
you list them as a 20.
Oh. Yeah, nope, saw that. Thomas Muller, he is officially a Vancouver Whitecap, the 35-year-old. I mean, he's not a striker. He's not an attacking mid. He's a secondary striker, right? But no one actually plays with one of those anymore. So we'll see what the Whitecaps do. But the 35-year-old German legend is coming over after his contract with Bayern Munich has ended. He will not be a DP in 2025. He will start being a DP on the Whitecaps books in 2026. I don't think that changes too much. But just for factual sake for anyone listening or watching, I mean, the dude has over 300 goal contributions to his name in his career. He absolutely is a master of finding, holes and pockets and spaces on the field, and is not notoriously the most physical guy. So that is my only concern of Thomas Muller at 35 years old coming to a pretty physical league. But he's adapted pretty well in doing that for most of his career. 16 goal contributions in almost 50 games for Bayern last year. Jason, we've talked about this less than the Heung-min Son signing, but how do you feel about Thomas Muller slotting right in behind Brian White in Vancouver?
I am happy Vancouver did this, I think, but concerned a little bit. I'm not nearly as confident about this signing as I would be with as I was with Son, just because 2 years of age difference feels like a big difference here. Especially with how their careers have panned out and their previous seasons. But I think he brings I don't know if maturity is the right word, but his presence is going to make a difference. And I'd like to see Vancouver going for it a little bit and doing something like this. Whether it works out or not, I'm more happy because I feel like Vancouver is one of those clubs that I talk about sometimes that I'm they're so close, but they're not willing to take the risk. And this is definitely a risk, but where they're at in the table, how their season has gone has been exceptional. Obviously, they've had that little dip. It has not hurt them nearly as much as, it was a small drop off. It really has not hurt them that much. They're still sitting on 45 points, second in the conference. I do again, this is the Western Conference where it's sort of up for grabs. If you told me Vancouver was playing any of these other teams in the playoffs, there's an outside chance Vancouver's winning. Like, I don't know, like, where LAFC is going to go from here, and I also still am very high on Seattle, like I said. But like, any other team, I could see Vancouver beating. I mean, I think Minnesota is pretty good too, but um, just name all the other teams.
I mean, Vancouver is still technically in the Supporter Shield race. They're only 5 points out from the top. If we really,
I feel like the difference in the way some of these teams are playing in the East versus some of these teams playing in the West doesn't make me feel that way. But then again, these teams have to play these East teams more than the West.
I'm not saying they will win the Supporter Shield. I'm just saying there is a good chance that there's a good chance they win the Western Conference, and there's a good chance that they are in the top handful of clubs that are obviously vying for the Supporter Shield.
Which is why I think this is a good choice. Like, I think this is a move that brings in someone who's been in tight races, who's been through stressful, crazy games. Like, he's won everything.
Literally.
Like, what hasn't he won, right?
Well,
so
I guess maybe like, La Liga, the Premier League, but
okay, everything that he's been able in every competition he's been in,
yes,
he has won.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident saying that. I could be wrong, but pretty much every competition.
I think you're probably pretty accurate in saying that. I have my concerns. The age of 35 being a DP, obviously it's starting next year, whatever, it does concern me. I do think when fully healthy, this Vancouver Whitecaps core is pretty strong. So I'm not looking at this in a sense of Thomas Muller is going to help bring the Whitecaps to MLS Cup in 2025. I just don't see it. But I think if maybe it's Thomas Muller.
You don't think there's any chance they win MLS?
There is.
You'd be confident. Like, I wouldn't be confident saying any team in the West right now. 100% is obviously stupid, but like, I don't think I would put any team. Like, I'd put them in little groups, and I feel like Vancouver is in like the top group, unless you really want to put LAFC on their own pedestal.
I think the only. If I'm lumping teams right now, my top lump of the Western Conference is like 6 teams, so 7 teams.
So my point is they're in that group. Like,
sure, but
I think that's a bit ambitious. I think it's maybe 4 or 5. I don't know if Portland, personally, no offense.
It's going to be one of these episodes, and I'm here for it, Jason. Portland Timbers are going to be good. Apparently,
the Timbers haven't let up a goal in Leagues Cup.
Bro, there are some Bogart bombs dropping.
I knocked on wood there, so.
The Portland Timbers that I'm very excited to see what comes out of it. Apparently, a new DP and a few other pieces are coming to Portland, which has me excited. But
I mean, they have their it's like a similar situation. Go for it. Like, any of these West teams need to just go all in.
I agree, and for the Whitecaps, for Thomas Muller, I just don't think the Whitecaps are going to be able to overcompensate for the injuries that they've had this year. When you talk about Ranko Veselinovic, Sam Adekugbe, Ryan Gauld's been out for a large chunk, and we've seen Ali Ahmed and Tristan Blackman miss some time. I think in 2026, it is going to be an unbelievable team fighting for the top of the Western Conference. I think in 2025, it is going to be cool to see Thomas Muller raise the Canadian Championship. Like, that's what I'm.
Hey, he's on board.
That's what I need is Thomas Muller winning every competition he's going to play in, and that includes the Canadian Championship. All right. I'm assuming the third name you wanted to talk about was Matt Turner?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's do it. Revolution. They've signed goalkeeper brought back goalkeeper, USMNT goalkeeper Matt Turner on loan from Lyon. Obviously, Matt Turner is a staple of what the Revolution brought success-wise over their last few years. Definitely the Bruce Arena Matt Turner days. But the 31-year-old now comes back to MLS after maybe not the most successful stint bouncing around some English clubs. Last year, he had 4 games played for Crystal Palace and did win the FA Cup, so good on him. But now he returns back home where he has had his most success in his career and where he definitely was goalkeeper number one for the USMNT. Jason, how do you feel with Matt Turner returning stateside and most likely, I think, gonna be a New England Revolution player for the rest of his career?
I am happy with it. I think I've been pretty clear that like when Matt Turner plays, he's, I don't know if I would say easily at this point, but like arguably the best goalkeeper in the pool. The problem is for 3 years he has played very intermittently and not good at times and sort of lost his spot. Well, actually, he kind of really lost his spot as the number one goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But he's still, I mean, we talked about this a month ago. Like that pool is very much wide open. So I think this is a move that, I mean, I'd be curious to see to hear if he really pushed for this, because I think this puts him solidly back playing every week, playing in a league he knows, living in a place he's familiar with, getting back to the form that he was in, which we've seen is very, very high level. I think for him, this is like a no-brainer going into a year that has a World Cup, because he's now going to be able to play himself fully back into it. And I'm a lot more confident now saying that I think he'll be on that World Cup team than I was a month ago.
I'm way more confident in saying he's going to be the starting goalkeeper for the USMNT in 2026 than I was a month ago.
Right. Like, I think this is almost a no-brainer move for him, because there was nothing happening at Palace. There was nothing happening before. There was nothing really happening at Lyon.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's like if Lyon doesn't have whatever meltdown and financial issues that Lyon's been having, and now they're still in Ligue 1 and whatever was happening, I do think Matt Turner's probably vying for a starting goalkeeper spot in France. But that's not the case. I think the World Cup being in the U.S. next year is also a big piece to it. He wants to be the starting goalkeeper. He can do it at home. He can do it playing for a club he found the most success with. And the move to the Revs just makes sense. And
he's also had his experience in Europe. He doesn't.
Yeah.
We don't need to force it.
No, I mean, look, to me, it's very Zach Steffen-esque.
I was going to say that, but Zach Steffen, I feel like, went through other stuff.
Zach Steffen also had more success in Europe. He was at least the starting goalkeeper for.
When he was in the championship, he was a pretty good goalkeeper for a
while.
In
the Bundesliga, he was, a good goalkeeper. So I'm that's why I said Zach Steffen-esque, not exactly like for like, but I'm glad to see Matt Turner return home. It fills me with confidence for the U.S. to at least, hopefully, fingers crossed, have an old Matt Turner back between.
I mean, I just wanted. I've said it forever. Like, just play games. Like Matt Turner, when he's playing week in and week out, is a very good keeper.
Yeah.
Obviously, when he's not playing, and it's probably more accentuated as a goalkeeper, it's really hard to keep up that form of real-time shots, real plays and stuff. So I think him just getting back to that really builds a lot of confidence in me for the World Cup and for the U.S. team. And then I think it's just good for his career. I mean, he's what, 31?
Yeah.
I don't think he needs to be like going. I mean, I don't know what he wants, right? Like maybe he really wanted to have a career in France or whatever. And if that's the case, then that's unfortunate. But I think for his career, personally, this seems like the best move.
I think Matt Turner could ultimately, and again, maybe I was stepping a little too far saying he's going to finish his career with New England, but I think he could ultimately play the next 8 or 9 years in net for the Revolution and always just kind of be the constant staple there, be a Brad Guzan-esque player like Guzan's been for Atlanta and Tim Howard was for the Rapids before that.
He could get the Revs back into playoff. Like, they're not that far out.
Which is insane to say because the Revs have not had the best.
Well, to be fair, the Revs have started horrible. Picked it up a little bit. They had that stretch where I was like, wait a second. And then they've been very much like every week, it's either the worst team you've ever seen or they just beat someone you didn't expect. And it might be just the experience. I think Matt Turner will definitely help the team a lot this season.
Yes.
As someone who put a lot of stock in the Revs, I must stick with them.
I'm going to transition us to a team that I feel way more confident in as well with the signing, and that's the Columbus Crew, bringing in Wessam Abou Ali, the 26-year-old Palestine striker from Al Ahly, the Egyptian Giants. And we saw Ali score in the Club World Cup. We saw him have his success with Al Ahly. So very, very fun signing here. The Crew spent $7.5 million for Abou Ali, with the potential for another $1 million, and he is obviously going to be a DP striker for them. He's won the African Champions League. He's a two-time Egyptian Premier League winner. He's an Egyptian Super Cup winner. He's won the Egyptian Premier League Golden Boot. He has 85 goals and 19 careers and 19 assists in his career. And last season with Al Ahly, he had 19 goals and 4 assists in 34 games. This is apparently from everything that I've been reading about him and watching of him, I went back and watched a lot of the Club World Cup games of him since that was the most recent, obviously, performances out there. He's very Cucho-esque. He can kind of slide wherever. He can slide out wide, put in a ball. He's pretty lethal with his foot. I like it a lot. Maybe me trying to shove Cucho in there is not maybe the best comparison for him as a striker, but the Crew need a 9. Like, they need a dude who's going to be lethal and who can help kind of facilitate or be the finisher for everyone else who's facilitating. And that's been the biggest thing that they've been missing. And I think Abou Ali could be that. And I'm excited to see him get on the field, even though it's only going to be for a handful of games leading into the playoffs. So we'll see how quickly him, Son, Muller, everyone can kind of, I guess, make an impact in such a short.
Like almost 14 games.
It's less than that.
It's less? Oh, man.
It's like 10 games.
I think this is a really good move, but like 26-year-old striker, DP to Columbus, I literally have nothing to say.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be amazing. And I also think this benefits Jason Russell-Rowe a bit because I think he's better off in a role that isn't the starting number 9.
Yeah.
I really like him as a player. I don't know if he's necessary. How old is he? 22?
Jason Russell-Rowe, I would say 23 is my guess. Let me see.
I was going to say 22.
22.
Oh, nailed it. Anyway, I think he can get to that point potentially, but I don't think he's there now. And I think Columbus is in a position where they need players who are very high caliber starters. And also, it's fresh in my mind because their game last night versus it's going to bother me now. Leon. I feel like they could have won that game by a lot more than they did because
they need a finisher.
They need someone who's going to put that final ball in the back of the net, and this could be that. I really hope it is for them. It's a move that makes the top of the East even more insane, which I'm excited for. Personally, I don't even care. I think there's a chance that the Fire played NYCFC for that final playoff spot, and honestly, we're both getting destroyed.
Next round.
Yeah.
Look, there's a chance whoever finishes 5th, 6th, and 7th in the Eastern Conference is a very good Eastern Conference team, and they just unfortunately aren't going to host the playoff spot the playoff
It's insane
game.
to me that you have Miami currently would play Columbus in the first round. And they'd be the away team.
Yeah. Well, Miami also has 3 games to play of regular season action. But still, yes.
You're right. I did miss that. It still might work that way.
It's insane, I think, the talent bouncing around.
Orlando's up 5-1 right now.
Yeah.
Who are they playing? No, not Pumas.
Necaxa.
Yeah.
Well, I want to throw in some quick Leagues Cup chat about the Columbus Crew. Obviously, you mentioned it, 1-0 win over Lyon. They destroyed Puebla. Taha I can't say his name. What is it? Taha Habrun. Sorry, Taha. I apologize. He had 2 assists. He looked like a fantastic, again, another young talent coming up through the Columbus Crew system. And then obviously the big draw in the first match day games against Toluca. Eventually they lost in PKs. But the Columbus Crew have consistently, once again, under Wilfried Nancy, shown up against Liga MX opposition. And obviously, I'm not even going to sit here and try to predict what's going to happen with the Leagues Cup.
I really want to, actually.
I don't, bro. It is the biggest cluster.
It's not. It's not for the. I don't think it really is, because there's only 4 teams that are making it.
Yeah.
And, like, this is why I feel like if Columbus had scored honestly, probably 3 goals yesterday, it would be a lot more difficult, I think. But especially with how Orlando's playing right now, they played themselves above Columbus. I don't know how much time is in that game. It's probably like not that many minutes left.
Well, what I'm about to watch is Luis Suarez put home a PK against Pumas, which is then gonna vault Inter Miami up to
number one,
and then if Seattle wins, they're at 9 points.
If Seattle wins, they're going to be the top team. That's just.
Well, Portland has a chance too.
Portland would have to. So if Seattle wins, let's just say they win 1-0. Portland would have to win 4-0 versus Club America, which is a lot harder than I think what.
I might need glasses. I did not read that as a +8. I read that as a +6. So,
dude, they won 7-0.
Yeah. That's on me.
I think. I mean, even if Portland ties, though, they're likely going to be in the top 4.
Yeah. Off of goal differential alone, probably. Look, I think it's probably Seattle, Portland. I said I didn't
Miami
do this.
Just went into it. I think it's Seattle, Portland, Miami, Orlando.
And unfortunately, I think Columbus
unless Orlando lets up another goal.
Yeah.
I wish I had it pulled up. How much time is left in that game?
It is
86 minutes.
Christ, glasses, Jason. This is the more concerning thing right now for me.
If they let up another goal, then it'll be interesting. But
yeah.
I think them on +6. Columbus and LAFC don't have a game to play.
Yeah,
Minnesota's the only team with an outside chance.
I'm also not sitting here confident that Miami doesn't allow another goal or 2 in the last half an hour of this game. But
they go down to 6 points.
Yeah, so
if that happens, then Columbus gets. Columbus gets it.
I kind of want to see Columbus make it through. I think Columbus has.
I think Seattle and Portland, outside of a meltdown, probably get in.
Yeah. All right. Well, do we want to finish up any transfer conversation of anything else that's happened? There's been a lot of moves. I feel like we got it.
I don't know. Pick one.
How about we just talk about Atlanta United really quick?
I was gonna say maybe Atlanta because they've been doing stuff.
Atlanta's done a lot. So first and foremost, I'm gonna just quickly mention the center back situation for Atlanta United. They've loaned out Noah Cobb to the Colorado Rapids for the rest of the 2025 season. Then they signed center back Juan Barrocal on loan from Getafe in La Liga. They acquired Leo Afonso from Inter Miami for an international roster spot and some GAM. Obviously, I think that international roster spot went to Rodrigo de Paul. Atlanta United, they've also used their second contract buyout on center back Luis Abram. They've signed 2 players from Atlanta United too, bringing them up to the first team. And then they also signed Venezuelan international central midfielder Steven Alzate from Hull City for a reported deal around $2 million. I think Atlanta United are they've been a club throughout their MLS history that has not been okay with not being a good team, for lack of better words. And I think this is them saying, fuck this. Center back, the defending situation has not been well. We're getting rid of pretty much every center back on the roster, and we're bringing in a whole new slew of them. We're promoting the young talent that deserves it. We're bringing in a central midfielder that we feel can slot in nicely because Tristan Mayumba hasn't been that. I think they're doing everything possible, and this is classic Chris Henderson of just, I think, revamping a roster very quickly, and I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference for 2025, but I hate saying this because I feel like all we do is say this about Atlanta United, but 2026 could be an interesting one for them.
I mean, the way they finished last season felt like this season has felt like a letdown, like a big letdown. I think you're right. Like, this isn't moves for 2025. They're already a lot of 14 points out.
They're very far back
of the 9 spot. It's definitely not a move for this year. There's not enough time left. This is kind of a lost cause, which is sad because I think a lot of the moves they've made in the past, like going into the season, the way they finished, I really liked Latte signing. I think he's been good. I don't think he's getting as much service as we were hoping for.
I mean, Almiron, I will say, Miguel Almiron has been disappointing, I think. Miranchuk shows up in spots, but is wild.
Same with Saba. He shows up and kills it, and then it's like, where'd you go for 3 weeks?
Exactly. And then, like I said about the reason why they brought in Alzate from Hull City, Tristan Mayumba has just not been that nice of a central midfield piece next to Schleich, in their lower midfield.
Well, I like that they're making these moves now, giving them time to get acclimated to the league, then a full off season going into the next season. I think this is probably the better way to do it. If you're going to make large scale changes, which they aren't.
No, I fully agree. It's a new center back core. It's some young talent. We'll probably see which depth pieces are going to be gone and who they can get off the books salary-wise for next year and do even more in the off season. So I like it, but again, it's nothing that's really, overly exciting me for 2025. I want to quickly talk about the Colorado Rapids. Obviously, Tom Bogert dropped a huge bomb over the last week in that Djordje Mihailovic is reportedly on his way to Toronto FC. Nothing official as of yet, but it would be for roughly $8 million in an MLS sale or transfer for cash or whatever the fuck we're going to call it now. Apparently, also, Fluminense heavily interested in Rafael Navajo from the Colorado Rapids as well. This is all in the wake of Colorado absolutely having their back line decimated with Chidozie Awaziem wanting to go back to Europe. They got rid of Kevin Cabral off of who's been a DP, for a long time there. They used their contract buyout for them. So what do the Rapids do? They go get Noah Cobb from Atlanta. They sign longtime Arsenal center back Rob Holding, right? Like, they go out, they try to make these moves to rebuild the defense, which they do. And then it's Mihailovic and possibly Rafael Navajo out the door soon enough for this team. Some concern for Chris Armis's boys. I don't know how else to word it other than I'm very concerned about the Colorado Rapids.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like the Rapids are in this, loop all the time. It's the same loop. Like, we're always talking about this the same way. Wow, there's a lot of talent here. Then it's like, where did it all go? Like, how does it all leave so fast?
Yeah.
You talk about 1 or 2 transfers a week, and then suddenly it's like an entirely different team, and it's kind of consistent in this loop like this. And maybe they'll be able to continue to rebuild. I think losing Mihailovic it sounds like it's pretty much done.
I think it's going to happen. I just had to throw in the caveat that
because it hasn't been officially announced, but that's a huge loss. Whatever you want to say, at his best, Mihailovic was an MVP candidate in this league. He's been a guy who can put up 15 to 25 goal contributions in a season, which is something that you don't just find lying around, especially one that's probably in his mid-20s now, upper 20s.
26, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say 26. So to me, it's like, I don't know. I think they need to make signings or we're going to see this team completely fall out of even contention, and they're pretty much not in it now.
I mean,
especially with teams like Houston looking in.
Yeah. I think the Colorado Rapids fall out of the playoff picture, if you ask me, unless they can make
I don't think it's a hot take.
No, it's not a hot take. I'm saying unless they can make some quick work of a DP10 signing. I think the Rapids you said it perfectly that we constantly, I feel like, fall in the same conversation cycle for the Colorado Rapids, that they're like really good for 12, 24 months, and then
they finish like third or fourth, and you're like, wow, this team is like way better than I thought they'd be. And then it's like,
all of a sudden
what just happened?
They're in 12th in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
The Rapids have no hope until they figure it all out again, and it's
never long enough to win anything.
No, it's never sustained excellence. It's always a flash in the pan, and if it didn't work out, which it hasn't worked out since 2010, it's just the same Colorado Rapids, unfortunately. And I feel bad because the Rapids should have maybe kind of potentially won something in the last 5 years. I don't know, an Open Cup, anything, a Western Conference title even. I don't know.
I mean, they sell their players before they get to actually use them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or they let players walk for absolutely no good reason. Obviously, some context around Djordje Mihailovic. He asked for the transfer, and that's when the Colorado Rapids agreed to make the move this summer. They didn't want to make the move until the offseason, but, Djordje Mihailovic is a big piece. He's a big-time player, an in-prime star, and he is now going to a Toronto FC team where he had a ton of success under Robin Fraser. This is a TFC team that's trying to figure out their way post Bernadeschi and Insigne. And I think you could do a lot worse than trying to build out a new era of your team underneath Djordje Mihailovic is what I'll say. I think
Miami another goal.
There you go, Miami. Okay.
So Miami's in.
I mean, we have seen. Wait until they sub in Toto Aviles, and it's an absolute meltdown. That's all I'm doing. All right, I'm going to run through a few more moves, Jason. You tell me if you have any interest in any of these, okay? FC Dallas bringing in Christian Kappas from Viking in the Elite Serien. They also promote a few guys from North Texas SC. They transferred Marco Farfan to Tigres, which is fucking, I don't
insane.
Even know.
Yeah. That's what we talked about it. When we talked about it, no one heard us talk about it.
No one. That is where I can get into the weeds, is when it's just you and I texting about Farfan. Austin FC, they've signed a U22 initiative center back from the Serbian First Division. San Diego continue to just sign U.S. youth national team talent left and right. David Vasquez from the Union, Pedro Soma coming over from the Spanish lower divisions, and then they also acquired Corey Baird. He's not a U.S. youth national team player, but you get it. St. Louis, they used their contract buyout on Joachim Nielsen. Philadelphia Union, they signed Milan Iloski from Nordjylland for a reported fee of $1 million from Tom Bogert. That's kind of insane to me.
Which one was it?
What?
Oh, you're going so fast.
Sorry, I apologize. I was firing them off because I was trying to get through some ones that we're just.
I mean, Philly's in a position to continue to push too.
It's just, I understand that it's the same ownership group for Nordjylland and San Diego, and I understand that San Diego and Iloski couldn't get the deal done over salary. I get it, but clearly it wasn't that much of a number that was drastic, if, no offense to Philadelphia Union, were willing to pay it. Like, that's where I'm like, this is a little wild that San Diego lost Iloski for the season, who was a dude who put up double-digit goals for them. Maybe I'm being a little dramatic here, but...
No, I don't think you are. It's crazy.
Like,
I'd be
really?
pissed.
You let him go to another MLS team? Like, that's over whatever the difference was?
I mean, I guess it's a different conference, but currently they're I don't know. That's crazy.
And the backup plan was to go get Corey Baird, who, no offense, big Corey Baird guy, love you, guy.
Yeah, wait, hey, easy. We are a big Corey Baird pod. We always have been.
Sure, Corey Baird hasn't scored in like 24 months. So I'm gonna say
Prove it. Show me the numbers.
Well, he hasn't scored this season. That is an absolute fact. He has 1 assist in 22 games for Cincinnati. But what I'm saying is, like,
showing me how much would defend that.
You don't pay Milan Iloski, but you're like, let's go trade for Corey Baird. Like, I just don't get it. Maybe that's the reason why I'm not a general manager, a sporting director, whatever. But
no, I think most people were on the same page as you here.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate. I don't feel as crazy anymore. All right. I'm gonna roll through a few more of these. Charlotte FC, they signed left back Harry Tofalu via free agency. He was last playing for Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. Cincinnati signed a striker on loan from Grenoble in the French second division. Orlando City, they signed Tyrese Spicer from Toronto FC. I actually really fucking like that move for Orlando City. To me, he kind of feels like a perfect bench piece right behind Ivan Angulo on that left-hand side. So shout out Oscar Pereja. That is a classic Oscar Pereja move, bringing in like this youngish MLS piece out of college. He's kind of proven, kind of not. I think Tyrese Spicer is gonna have success in Orlando. That's my maybe hot take there. Sporting Kansas City, they signed center back Alan Montez on loan from Liga MX side Necaxa. Necaxa could probably use a center back tonight. New York City, they've transferred striker Monsef Bakrar to Croatian club Dinamo Zagreb. Houston Dynamo, they brought back a longtime MLS center back Antonio Carlos from Fluminense. That's actually kind of a low-key, sneaky piece that I feel like could help Houston bump into the playoffs. Antonio Carlos we've talked about him for years, obviously, when he was with Orlando. Very strong center back in this league, and I feel like he could slot in nicely onto the Houston back line. And then maybe a team we can spend a little bit more time on here, Jason, Real Salt Lake. They just went and signed every striker. They're like, we literally had zero.
Oh, the Austin school.
Yeah, right. Can we just spend as much money as possible on our attack? They signed a new DP in Juan Cruz on loan from Botafogo. Then they spent about $2 million on a striker, Victor Olantunji from Sparta Prague. And then, they already had Willie Agata on the team and Arief Piol. And then they went out and also signed a U.S. Youth National Team striker. And Real Salt Lake was just like, we are.
How many goals are they trying to score?
What'd you say?
I said, how many goals are they trying to score?
I mean, they need the help. They absolutely need the help. So
I mean, I'm gonna stick to it. It's the West. Like, go for it.
I'm a little crazy. I think RSL could finish in a 5 to 7 spot. I think Houston can finish in a 5 to 7 spot.
I agree, because I think Colorado falls. I think Austin falls.
Yeah.
We're getting
I think San Diego, eventually falls out of the top 3. Top 4, I could see.
I could see San Diego finishing around 5th.
I love how every single week this podcast just ends up looking at the Western Conference.
Because it's so fun. Well, actually, it's honestly more enjoyable to look at the Eastern Conference because of how insane it is. But the West is so chaotic that, like you're saying, there's not that much time left. In Houston, who's in currently 11th, could finish in 5th.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised at all.
No, and look, this is all in saying the transfer window is still open. Again, Portland Timbers reportedly about to make a few moves to bring in some talent to this roster. I don't have a single fucking idea outside of I think LAFC are going to be really good and Minnesota's been very good. So outside of those two, I don't have a clue.
Seattle needs to be in the
conference finishes. What?
Seattle's going to be good. They're going to finish in the top 4 spot.
I mean, just based off history alone, yes, I will agree with you there.
The talent on their team is so good. They're good. They're good. I'm not convincing anybody. I know they're good.
I don't know if they're a top 4 team in the West. Good. Maybe. I'm probably.
Yeah, name 4 teams better than them right now.
Then better than Seattle?
Yeah.
I think Vancouver is currently better. I think LAFC is currently better. I think Minnesota is currently better. And I think there's an argument.
I would probably agree with those 3.
And I think there's an argument that the Portland Timbers are currently better. There's an argument. Just my opinion. Just saying.
I mean, that's okay. If I was going to name 4 teams, those would be the same teams I would have named.
And then San Diego's still bouncing around.
But I think Seattle's one of those teams that finishes every season strong. Like if I'm going from history and the fact that I know the team has a lot of talent on it, and the Leagues Cup where they've just been kind of dominating, I feel pretty confident in the back end of their season.
But that's why I'm saying I think historically, I 100% agree Seattle is going to finish top 4 in the West. 100%. Do I think that is an actual representation of talent right now?
Well, let's see. Well,
if Stephen Fry was in net, I'd feel a lot better about the Seattle Sounders. That's all I'll say there. All right.
Okay, let's just move on. Yeah.
I mean, we have nothing else to talk about. Do you want to talk about your opinion of Leagues Cup? Because apparently you hate it.
I don't hate it. I just think that this format's really bugging me out, okay? It doesn't make any sense to me. We're competing, but none of the teams competing are playing against each other.
I get it.
I also get it, but there's an 18-team table and 4 teams move on. It just feels like we're missing out. We're going to be missing out on Columbus.
It's I get it in the sense of they wanted to shrink, I guess, the amount of times teams are spending playing Leagues Cup. So I get it.
It makes total sense. But if you have 18 teams on either side and you only have them play 3 games, it is so bad representation of the best teams. I mean, it actually seems like it's a pretty good representation.
I was gonna say, you're losing me on that one.
I mean, Cincinnati. You think Cincinnati's not one of the 4 to 7 best teams? They're sitting down and
currently playing in Leagues Cup because I do think the Union are one of the best 4 teams, but they're not in Leagues Cup for everyone paying attention to that. Excuse me, hiccup.
I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing like that. I'm just saying there's more than 4 teams that I think deserve to move on. Which sounds like I'm like saying we need more games, which maybe we do. I don't know. So
you want the format from last year is what you're telling me? Where
some type of hybrid, maybe like
it was literally like a full month off of just MLS. I think
what did they have a group stage last year?
It was, remember, it was like 12 different groups, and then there was 3 teams in each group, and then you played the teams in your group, and the winner of each group advanced, and it was a giant clusterfuck of. It was last year's tournament was way too big. If you're trying to make this an in-season tournament, I agree you have to make it as like concise as possible.
And they have to cut more teams because 36 teams is too many teams. What's the point if I'm Montreal? Why am I even playing? Like, why am I playing? If I'm on Montreal, what am I doing? No, I'm sorry. I just picked a team that was towards the bottom. It's Montreal that I saw first.
Yeah.
But what's the point? What's the point?
I mean,
on team number 16 in an 18-team table, that 4 teams move on.
Well, it's funny because when I was listening to Soccer Why, shout out Tom Bogert, David Goss. Tom Bogert said he was talking with a few different sporting directors, and one specifically told him, if we lose the first game, we're playing a B team the rest.
That's what I was about to say. If you lose the first game, don't even show up to the other game.
What is
if you lose the first game, there's genuinely no reason to have a second and third game. It should be like that. Yeah, maybe it's just that. But then it's like, who do you get drawn against? You get just absolutely screwed because there's so many. Like, we're going to have a team that makes it through because they played some shitty teams instead of, like, a team that had to play Pachuca and Tigres and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I'm fine with it. Look, I'm fine with 3 games that are ultimately going to go to what? If you win the entire thing, 6 games. It's growing on me more than where I was in the off season.
Do I have it on my TV? Yeah.
Yeah. Am I watching it? Yes. I don't know. To me, I would still rather all of these teams just play an Open Cup and fuck this tournament. But these games have been fun. We have seen the Sounders win 7-0. We've seen the Timbers, you mentioned, they haven't allowed a goal to a Liga MX opponent. We've seen 3 very fun games with the Columbus Crew. I've got to see Matt Freese get a PK save against Thomas Rodriguez. It's been a ton of fun. It's been a ton of fun.
It sounds like I'm being too harsh on this. I just feel like we're not there yet. We need to go back to the drawing board slightly. Is it better than last year? Yeah, it's not perfect.
I just don't know what a good version of this tournament looks like with it existing, period.
I think it's partially because there is no good version. Like, it literally exists to put money in their pockets. But that's the only reason it exists.
So just to give the listeners a little behind the scenes, Jason and I were talking last week, and I'm on vacation. My wife's tan, fully under the umbrella.
Now you sound like a crazy person. You're on vacation. I'm texting you about Leagues Cup.
Oh, that is the healthiest thing I could possibly think of. But we were talking, and you were like, shouldn't they just invite some like other best teams from CONCACAF?
I didn't even say no. I said what? Like, you're right, because it's you nailed it. But like every team, put in all the Liga MX teams, put in all MLS teams, put in all the. I can't think of anything because my brain doesn't work anymore.
Canadian Premier League, Costa Rican First Division.
Not even all first. Bring. Why can't I think of the second league?
USL Championship.
USL, yeah. Bring all the USL teams. I want to see the Flamingos play in this tournament.
You're just and I said this to you in text message. You're asking to watch a second rendition of CONCACAF Champions Cup. That's what you're asking for. Is it? There is no good way.
Yeah, I guess so. You're right, but like. I don't understand the point of Leagues Cup. They're going, okay, this trophy means a lot because it's, the best, like the Liga MX versus MLS and those are the best leagues in the region. No one ever is going to look at this trophy and go, yep, that matters more than the Champions Cup.
Who's gonna say that and look at it and say that? All of the owners.
I don't give a shit. I'm not making millions, and I'm not an owner.
when their team is raising the Leagues Cup and they have what is the $10 million prize or whatever the fuck it is for winning this competition, that's when they'll be like, we're happy we won Leagues Cup over fucking whatever, which is just an absolute it's gross. It is what it is.
Okay, then put all the teams from both leagues in it.
Well, that's the thing.
Because to me, it's like I won't care. Like, the Fire aren't even playing in this tournament, so it's not totally legitimate. The Philadelphia Union are number 1 in the East, a very top conference, and they're not in this tournament.
Yeah, I think that
so
is.
Are we really gonna say this trophy matters a ton if like teams are missing out? That might be good.
Yeah, I agree. My AC just kicked on and scared the shit out of me. I fully agree with you that it's like there are some big-time teams missing from this tournament. Philly, Nashville, right? And yes, like, you're a Fire fan. The Fire aren't playing in it and everything in between. It's difficult to me because I get why Liga MX and MLS want to have this competition. I get it. It's money, especially playing games in the U.S. They're going to sell tickets. It's going to be it's insane, and we've seen the attendance and the fun and everything like that. If you're looking at it from a soccer purity point of view, I think you abolish the tournament. If you're looking at it from what modern day soccer is, I think you have to try to figure out a way where you hold this tournament and you play as least games as possible that doesn't affect both teams' regular seasons, and you get as much Mexico v. US, and I think this
What
might
if
be.
they did this tournament like every other year? Would that change anything? Because I feel like that
No.
would make it more interesting to me.
I don't think so. I personally am kind of getting to the point of I'm a little like watching a Liga MX team play an MLS team just doesn't excite me as much as it
No,
used
it does. Well, that's my point. It's like it's being shoved down our throats. Like it's the games. Some of them have been fun, but like it's boring.
I will also say there's been some fun games. There's also been some there's been like 80 red cards in this tournament. Like,
there's been like some shitty stuff, some fights, some bad calls.
Which it's fun because you don't always get it, but when you get it
Well, that's what I mean. That's like if this was every other year, I think I would actually like it. But it being shoved down my throat every year is like, I'm not that interested.
No, I think that's 100% fair. And as of to keep us moving, as of right now, we have 17 teams eliminated from this tournament, 11 from Liga MX, 6 from MLS, and the only team to qualify for the knockout round is Toluca of Liga MX. Jason, we do have the return of MLS action this weekend, so we're going to ignore Leagues Cup for right now because we're going
to... Orlando has to have technically clinched.
Well, the article that I had before...
I'm trying to think of a scenario where they don't, because LAFC doesn't play again. Minnesota... Oh, I guess
not official.
Yeah, it's not official because if Minnesota wins...
And the goal difference.
And wins by, 3 or more, they would tie. So 4 or more, then technically Orlando wouldn't be in.
Which could happen.
It is 0-0 currently.
All right. Well, you give me your MLS game of the weekend since MLS is back.
All right. Saturday was a little bit tough. Sunday's kind of got some bangers. I think Saturday, I'm going to go with your boys, New York City versus Columbus.
Okay.
It's weird because I don't know what these teams are going to look like with Leagues Cup and stuff being literally today and yesterday and tomorrow.
Yeah, we don't know who's tomorrow as well. We don't know who's probably going to rotate lineups. We don't know who's going to be starting.
Especially because some of these teams that play like Saturday and Sunday might have more Leagues Cups games.
Exactly. Yeah.
Leagues Cups?
It's leagues. It's multiple leagues. It's one cup. Multiple leagues.
Yeah, but Leagues Cup. Yeah. Okay. Yep. We're at over an hour here, so
I just want to toss in. I think Austin Houston's going to be a fun game. A little Copa.
Yeah. I think there's 2 Sunday. There's 2 Sunday games. I think Cincinnati versus Charlotte and Orlando versus Miami.
I fully agree with you. And on that note, folks, we're over an hour. Neither of us can talk. It is
but everybody lost their voices.
Try to do your best to enjoy the rest of Leagues Cup. It has been fun, so try to be a little positive with U.S. soccer and watch and enjoy MLS this weekend. And we will be back with you guys next week to talk everything that's happened in Leagues Cup. Yep.
Then we'll have our team. Then we'll have our 4 teams. We'll see what's going to happen.
Exactly. We can actually talk about some knockout games of consequence, some MLS action, and probably a whole other slew of transfers that are gonna come down the pike here. Jason, thank you, sir. Everyone listening, watching, thank you. Please rate, review, subscribe, follow, all that fun stuff, and we will talk with you guys next week.